बिल्डिंग के पैशन और विल पावर से डिसेबिलिटी को पीछे छोड़ 28 साल के आनंद आर्नल्ड आज हैं इंडियाज फर्स्ट व्हीलचेयर बॉडी बिल्डर।
जब मैंने जिम स्टार्ट किया था तब ऐसी बॉडी में कोई भी कुछ डिफेक्ट नहीं था। देन जब मैंने मिस्टर गोल्डन का टाइटल जीता तो उसके बाद में थोड़ा सा मेरे को बैक में पेन आना शुरू हो गया। मेरे को हॉस्पिटल में जाना पड़ा। मेरी मॉम डैड को उन्होंने पहले बताया था, तो मैं एडमिट था, तो मेरे को कोई बता नहीं रहा था कि क्या हुआ है। तो फिर एक दिन मम्मी आए तो मम्मी की आंखों में आंसू थे। मैंने कहा आप रो क्यों रहे हो? कहते तू व्हील चेयर पे आ जाएगा। मैंने कहा कोई बात नहीं। मैंने कहा अगर व्हील चेयर पे आऊँगा, मैंने कहा कोई बात नहीं, आपके सामने तो रहूँगा, आपकी आंखों के सामने तो रहूँगा।
फैमिली पर पहाड़ टूट पड़ा जब पता चला कि आनंद के लोअर बैक में कैंसर डिटेक्ट हुआ। सर्जरी के बाद आनंद के नेक से नीचे का हिस्सा पैरालाइज्ड हो गया, लेकिन आनंद रुकने वालों में से नहीं थे। लाइफ की सबसे मुश्किल सिचुएशन में भी वो पॉजिटिव रहे और इसमें आनंद का सबसे ज्यादा साथ दिया उनकी सिस्टर्स ने।
मेरे लिए वो भाई बेटे जैसा है। मैं 10 इयर्स की थी और वो 6 मंथ्स का था। मैंने तब से उसे पाला है। मेरी मामा तो इसको देख ही नहीं पाते थे। उससे बर्दाश्त ही नहीं होता कि मेरा इतना हंसता खेलता इतना सुंदर लड़का अचानक ऐसा हो गया। तो मैं और मेरी सिस्टर थे जो इसका केयर करते थे। सब कुछ बेड पे, मतलब इवन ब्रश, सब कुछ बेड पे हम लोग करवाते थे।
फैमिली के सपोर्ट और 3 साल की फिजियोथेरेपी के बाद आनंद की अपर बॉडी तो ठीक हो गई, पर पैर हमेशा के लिए पैरालाइज्ड हो गए। पर आनंद के हौसले ने हार नहीं मानी।
वो मेरा स्टूडेंट था, जो मेरा फ्रेंड था अमित गिल, तो मेरे को कहता यार मेरे साथ ना जिम चल। मैं जिम गया तो मैंने देखा शोल्डर मशीन है, तो थोड़ी देर बाद मैंने एक्सरसाइज लगानी शुरू करी। तो जब मैंने लगाई तो एक सेट में ही मेरे मसल्स जो है वो पम्प्ड अप हो गए। फिर मैंने सोचा यार देयर इज समथिंग, मैंने कहा कुछ है अभी भी मेरे शरीर में। फिर जब मैंने किया तो 1 महीने में दोबारा वैसी मेरी बॉडी हो गई, मसल पूरे रीबिल्ड हो गए। मैं अपने कोच से मिला तो मैं कुछ करना चाहता हूँ।
तो स्पोर्ट्स की शुरुआत वहाँ से हुई। मैं एथलेटिक्स करने लगा, नॉर्मल लोगों में खेलने लगा।
बचपन में ही पोलियो की वजह से राइट हैंड इनका कमजोर हो गया था, लेकिन बचपन से अभिषेक का स्पोर्ट्स में इतना मन लगता था कि नॉर्मल कैटेगरी में भी नेशनल लेवल के एथलीट बन गए थे। स्कूल में 5 किलोमीटर, 10 किलोमीटर और मैराथन रेसिंग में कई मेडल्स जीते। पर 26 अक्टूबर 2010 में नी इंजरी ने उन्हें ऐसा झटका दिया कि उनकी रनिंग रुक गई।
2 साल बाद जब सोचने लगा कि मैं क्या करूं, मेरे भैया है संदीप गवई करके, उनका स्पोर्ट्स देखता था, तो उन्होंने बोला कि आप आर्चरी करो।
राइट हैंड और शोल्डर में इतनी पावर नहीं थी कि वो हाथ से एरो खींच पाए, इसीलिए उनके भाई संदीप गवाई ने दांतों से खींचा। इंडिया से ये गोल्ड मेडल लाने का सपना लेकर अभिषेक रोज जी जान से मेहनत कर रहे हैं।
एक सपना है कि अपने छाती पे अपना तिरंगा हो, पीछे इंडिया लिखा हो, और हर खिलाड़ी का सपना होता है कि देश को रिप्रेजेंट करने का।
नागपुर में रहने वाले अभिषेक ने भी लाइफ में जो किया उस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया। इस पर भले अभिषेक का राइट हैंड आसान है और उसकी लगन हॉकी में उसे बना रहा था इंडिया का पहला पुलिस OMG मेरा इंडिया।
The organization has expanded to include children, families and communities. It is now moving towards the rural and tribal areas to build the first inclusive village under the Mitru Allur Foundation.
I think in the larger perspective, what we tried to do was really to serve India, was to do nation building, was to serve humanity, to serve the poor, oppressed in our country, the powerless, the disabled.
पटियाला से कुछ 50 किलोमीटर दूर छोटा, अरे ये अचानक अलर्ट मोड में कैसे आ गए? था कौन वो? फॉलो मी। अरे पर तुसी हो कौन? OMG।
मैं 8th क्लास में था जब मेरी सिस्टर के लिए मेरे पेरेंट्स साइकिल लेके आए, उसको गिरने से डर लगता था। Yes, you are so good। लगे कि हाँ यार ये वर्ड आपके लिए बना है। और वो है सुपर सिंह। जानना चाहता हूँ कि सुपर सिंह जब इन्होंने साइकिलिंग का एक्सरसाइज बंद किया, चाहे साइकिलिंग हो या
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Can all of you please kindly take your seats because we are about to begin our program. And also, please
have put together such a fabulous program for us today. One that I'm sure you will cherish for a long time to come. But before we begin, let me introduce our very special guests for today. Please give a warm welcome to Padma Shri awardee, Dr. Mithu Alur. The MD of the MD of AETN 18 and CEO Broadcast Network, Avinash Kaul. The host of OMG Mera India, Krishna Abhishek. And last but not least, the author and disability rights activist, Malini Chib. To officially begin this day of joy, sharing, and inclusion, I would like to request the four of you to please come forward and light this lamp as we listen to the hymn, Asatoma Sadgamaya. Let this lamp take us from darkness to light, just as what we see and learn here today. Also stands as India's premier platform for positive impact. I would like to now call upon Avinash to please tell us a little more about this exciting development.
Thank you very much. Am I audible? No, I just wanted to thank everybody here for this very warm welcome. It's indeed historic, and for the first time I can see the positive impact that some of the work that we keep on doing is manifesting itself. So thank you very much for this honor. TV18 and Network 18 and the entire team at ADAPT to host us for launching the new season of OMG Mera India. To talk a little bit about the journey of OMG India and history in particular, I think it's the whole idea about launching this show was to put a spotlight on ordinary Indians who are doing extraordinary things. Normally, on the news network, you will see a lot of positives, you will see a lot of negatives, probably more negatives than you will see positives. And on the mass entertainment channels, you will see entertainment, which is where history comes in. And the whole idea is that we take real life cases of ordinary Indians who've been able to do extraordinary things. Because the belief is very simple, that history is not something that you read in the books. History is something that's getting created every day. And if we are able to chronicle the contemporary history as people are doing it, then I think we are leaving behind a message in a bottle for the future to take inspiration from what's happening today. And despite all odds, many of these Indians that we have showcased over the last 8 seasons, each season has 10 episodes and each episode has 4 stories. So we have done 320 such inspiring Indians stories in the last 7 years. This is the 8th year, and we are coming again with the season 9 of OMG Mera India. It's hosted by the mass entertainment and very popular face Krishna Abhishek, all through the 8 seasons so far. In this journey, we have encountered, stories from all across India. Like one of the stories that we had done, which we showcased a couple of days back also, was a school in Guwahati which doesn't take any fee from children, but it only takes a fee in the form of plastic. So what that does is the students go out in the village and the town and gather all the plastic, it's weighed, and that's the fees. So what it does is it keeps the community clean, It brings the civic sense into children, and that model is now being replicated in various other schools in the country. Now, what does a channel like History TV18 do? We don't run these schools. It's run by ordinary Indians, but we try and showcase them and put it out on our channel and on digital assets to make sure that this story inspires a lot many Indians to believe that they can also do it. And if each one of them adopts a school, or if a bulk of people adopt certain schools, the entire country benefits immensely from this one single inspiring, gesture by a couple based out of Guwahati. So what we do is we get inspired by all the Indians who are doing extraordinary things, and we try to give them a platform and showcase those stories. Now, how big is the platform? To give you an idea, out of the 320 stories that we have done so far, we've done 1,000 crores impressions on digital alone with these stories, which is 10 billion impressions, 2 billion views, which is 200 crore views of these 320 stories so far. This is not to talk about what the deliveries on the television are, which is again into multiple languages. It's in English, Hindi, and some Southern Indian languages. So it gives a lot more inspiration to the people when they see that they are covered on a platform in a positive light, and that shines a spotlight. One of the stories in this season, and I'll touch upon only 2 stories so far, is one is a person in J&K, and Krishna was talking about that. In the middle of the terrorism and everything around, the guy got inspired to make a solar-powered car. And Krishna sat in that car and drove for a large part of his journey in Kashmir. Now, what would you imagine that this would happen in a place where there are everyday hartals happening, there is so much of turmoil, but here is a person who's inspiring everybody to showcase that if I could do it, so can you. Now, when you take the story and you lift it up from wherever it is happening onto the digital platforms, onto the television platforms, it inspires a whole lot of people who will be left thinking that I could have done this, but I didn't. So maybe I should do something that will really leave my name behind as that I did something inspiring for that. We have one more study here, case study in this one, and we have, Kamal is here. He was narrating his story. I mean, he's a Guinness Book of World Record holder, and he's specially able, right? And he was an avid volleyballer, and then met with an accident, and now he really couldn't do much, and he will talk about his journey in his own words. I won't steal his thunder away. But again, hearing him that day was like giving goosebumps to people. So I asked him one question. I said, during the COVID, when normally abled people really were feeling the mental stress of how do you manage the mental health during COVID, how did you embark upon this journey of going beyond and thinking of breaking a Guinness Book of World Record in the process on, going around in a wheelchair? That's what his record is about, and he will talk more about it. Now, what do we hope by showcasing this story is that the countless people who are spatially abled, especially the kind of work that ADAPT has been doing for 50 odd years, it is a case study by itself, it's a story by itself. And I know that, I was told that, there are currently on a regular basis 300 odd, children that you're working with. And in the 50 years, I cannot even begin to imagine the number of lives that you would have impacted very positively, right? Some of these stories are some things that some of the AVs that you saw playing here were also of spatially abled people doing extraordinary things. So we wanted to put the spotlight on spatially abled people and how they have been inspired and how we can make sure that the rest of India is also inspired by hearing about their stories. I mean, it's easy to talk, but very difficult to walk the talk. And, for the work that ADAPT has been doing, I think, it's my head bows down in gratitude for all the work that has been done by the ADAPT team. And I'm sure every day is an extreme learning and new learning, unlearning all the way in dealing with all kinds of challenges and making sure that people are, the inclusiveness of it all, So that's something which is extremely, extremely vital, the inclusiveness of it all. So again, with OMG Mera India, it is not only a show which places an emphasis on spatially abled people, but it's about inclusiveness. It's about spatially abled as well as the normally abled people working together to create historic moments. So with that, we just thought that this would be a perfect platform and a perfect opportunity for us to showcase some of the things that ADAPT has been doing, some of the things that we've been trying to do with OMG Mera India, and some of the things where Krishna has lent his mass appeal to the show, and the proudest thing that I've heard Krishna say in the last 7-8 seasons is when we spoke a couple of days back, and he told me that his 2 children go to Billabong school, and he told me for the first time when I went up on stage, the principal called me and he referred to me as the anchor of OMG Mera India and inspiring a generation rather than his other roles that he plays on mass entertainment channels. I mean, that gives it all, right? That's just the work that he's done. We are thankful to him for his continued support all along, and we are keen to bring in more and more stories on OMG Mera India, and we hope that it continues for 100 more seasons at least, because India is full of such stories, and inspiration is something that you always need. There will never be a time when we do not seek inspiration. So we just hope that we are able to continue the journey all along, and with all the support and the affection that we are getting from everybody, I'm sure that we will be able to succeed in our mission. With that, that's all that I have to say. Thank you for giving this opportunity once again.
Thank you, Avinash, for those impactful words, and thank you for bringing us together today. Well, abled, disabled, all people together. Let's remember those words. ADAPT was founded by Dr. Mitu Allur in 1972. It is a knowledge and research-driven organization that has impacted over 300 million lives around the world. They provide crucial paramedical, educational, vocational, and community services to not only disabled people, but also the people that support them. As the leading advocate for children and youth with disabilities across the nation, ADAPT has continuously been a powerful voice in the fight for their rights and the need for inclusion. In fact, under Dr. Allur's leadership, ADAPT literally adapted to become a transdisciplinary services provider that combines all streams of therapy, from physical, occupational, and psychological, combined with education, all under one roof. Their outreach and subject matter expertise has drawn people from around the world to participate in their programs. In fact, at this very moment, they have participants from 7 different countries for a 3-month course called CII, or Community Initiatives in Inclusion. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's watch a short video that shows us how much of work that they have done.
I don't like to politicians what the sorrow of the मैं कमाना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि मैं अपने पैरों पे खड़े होना चाहता हूँ. I want to be a doctor so that who people cannot walk, I can make them properly.
Remember those words, able, disabled, all people together. Dr. Education, as well as inclusive employment, she has championed the cause of education for all in India and was also a member of the Central Advisory Board of Education, the oldest and most important advisory board of the government in India. Her arduous research, data mining, and documentation has driven numerous changes in the government policies and in society at large. Dr. Alur has passionately propagated the inclusion of people with disability on both the social as well as economic front. The success of her efforts has seen ADAPT alumni accepted in many institutions in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I welcome the woman that put disabilities on the map in India, Dr. Mithu Alur.
Good afternoon. I must say this is really an honor to have TV18 and this channel, and I must confess I'm a bit ashamed I hadn't seen this before, but after meeting Avinash and Krishna, and I promise that I will definitely be seeing. And I can't imagine how wonderful our auditorium is looking. So thank you all very much, and thank you so much for inviting me at this very important meeting. Well, you know, I was actually speaking exactly what you wanted me to speak in front of all these people yesterday. So I think I give you the permission to go to sleep first while I'm talking. Well, you know, mine is a story of many journeys, and one of the journeys that I think I liked the most is when I became a parent. So I'm a parent of a person with disability. I don't like the word disabled, you know, because I feel that all of us are disabled in some way or the other. We just have invisible disability, like too much ambition and too much anger, or whatever, if that's called disability. So I think that that's not a good word, disabled, but I'm very proud to say she's here right in front of me, Malini Chib. And she's come a long way, but as I was telling all of you yesterday, that when she was born, very little was known. They said, what is cerebral palsy? And actually that time, the jargon term was spastic. So the poor health minister, I don't blame him now, but because he won't say it now, but at that time he said, is it spastic or plastic, you know? So, you know, we've come a long while from the plastic days. I think no health minister will now say that, but that's the journey of the 50 years. It's been a lot of training and teaching prime ministers and governors, and of course, all of us who are just very ordinary people. So we're so pleased that we are here, because we are really very ordinary. And, you know, we haven't, like yourself, Kamal, we haven't achieved, I mean, all that kind of thing, but we have endeavored, you know, we have endeavored to change social attitudes towards people with disability. And I think the first thing was a real outrage as a mother that my daughter was called a vegetable, you know, and of course, being privileged and having the means to go abroad, we soon found out within a month and a half that she was above average in intelligence. And of course, I won't talk about her because she won't allow me, but she's now got 2 masters, one in gender studies and one is information technology. And she's in Tata Sons as diversity officer. So I think it would be nice if I could give her a clap. Because Malini's been my greatest teacher. I was a bit of a historian, and so this is going to be just a part of my evening studies, really, the History Channel. And so I didn't know very much myself, so I had to do a lot of study and became an educationist in London. And thereafter, I believed that really it is not an individual tragedy belonging to any single family. From what I've found in England and Europe, it is the government. They are the main trustees of our country, trustee rather, and it is their job. And it is they who really have to. But at that time, when nothing existed, in fact, they didn't know what the needs were, they didn't have an identity in this country. So at that time, it was extremely important to have started an organization called the Spastic Society. And I was very, very fortunate in that I had a very broad and a very intellectual kind of a person who always wanted to be a doctor and became our first patron. That was Nargis Dutt. And Sunil Bhai, he didn't want to come to see us because he was a very soft-hearted man. He said, no, I'm not going there, I'm not going there, you know. I hate to see all this. But thereafter, after Nargis passed away, Sunil took up the mantle. So we've just actually dealt with both of them. Of course, her daughter is a part of the governing body here. We have not been political. And we are irreligious, meaning we are non-sectarian, you know. And we have helped, I'm happy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Allur. I think you have inspired generations of people who want to make a difference. And now the moment we've all been waiting for. I'd like to now request the host of OMG Mera India to please step forward. Krishna, please now tell us your story and your journey with OMG Mera India.
Thank you. बहुत कम तालियां बजी, थोड़ी और ज़्यादा ताली बजाइए. हाँ, ताली बजाना अच्छा होता है, हेल्थ के लिए भी बहुत अच्छी चीज़ होती है. और अब मेरे लिए ये कम थी, लेकिन अब डॉक्टर अल्लूर के लिए, उनकी सारी टीचर्स के लिए और उनके स्टाफ के लिए, सब के लिए ज़ोरदार तालियां. एंड मैम, मैं नॉट एज अ होस्ट और एज एन एक्टर, एज अ ह्यूमन आपको सैल्यूट करता हूँ. जेन्युइनली इट्स सच अ वंडरफुल डे टू बी हियर. और इससे अच्छी शुरुआत आई थिंक OMG की नहीं हो सकती. एक OMG जगह पे, मैं हमेशा OMG कहता हूँ, ये एक OMG जगह है वाकई. इसके लिए तो तालियां बनती हैं. इट्स अ प्लेजर मैम. और अविनाश सर के लिए भी ज़ोरदार ताली. लेकिन मैं उनके पहले बता दूँ मैं जो चीज़ कहना चाहता हूँ. ही सच अ जेन्युइन पर्सन. मैं जब भी अविनाश सर से मेरी मुलाकात होती है, हम लोग जब OMG को डिस्कस करते हैं या फिर इंटरव्यूज़ में साथ में होते हैं या हमारे लॉन्चेस होते हैं, तभी हमारी ज़्यादातर मुलाकात होती है. बिकॉज हम सभी बिज़ी रहते हैं अपने अपने काम में. तो अविनाश सर हमेशा कहते हैं कि इंडिया में स्टोरीज़ की हमें कभी कमी नहीं होगी. इसके बहुत सारे सीजन्स आएंगे, 100 सीजन्स आएंगे. लेकिन मैं शूट करता हूँ, मुझे पता है हिस्ट्री TV18 की जो टीम है वो कितनी मेहनत करती है शो के लिए. वो टैलेंट ढूंढना, उनको जाके शूट करना, उनके गांव में जाना, पूरी टीम को ले जाना, हिस्ट्री है, इसीलिए एक एक चीज़ का ख्याल रखना. इट्स नॉट अ जोक. इतने सालों से आपको हम एंटरटेनमेंट प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, इतनी इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरीज़ लेकर आते हैं, फ़न स्टोरीज़ लेकर आते हैं. अविनाश सर के लिए, हिस्ट्री TV18 के लिए ज़ोरदार तालियां हो जाएं. मुझे लोग हमेशा कहते हैं, वो कहते हैं ना कि मैं बड़े सारे शो कर चुका हूँ टीवी पे. आप लोग ने मुझे देखा हुआ है बहुत सारे शोज़ में, अभी भी देखते हैं. बट लोग कहते हैं कभी कभी कि एक कोई शो होता है विच इज़ फेदर इन योर कैप, है ना, कि ये शो सबसे अलग है. इट्स अ फेदर इन योर कैप. बट ये फेदर इन माई कैप नहीं है. दिस इज़ अ कैप स्टडेड विद डायमंड्स. OMG मेरा इंडिया है, वो है मेरे लिए. आई लव दिस शो. और फिर से एक और एक्साइटिंग सीज़न हम आपके लिए लेकर आए हैं, विच इज़ द 9th सीज़न. आजकल तो 2-3 सीज़न हो जाते हैं तो लोग पार्टियाँ मनाते हैं, क्योंकि अब जो है सोशल मीडिया आ गया. और सोशल मीडिया पे एक आधे मिनट का कंटेंट भी लोग स्क्रॉल कर देते हैं अगर इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं लगता.
तो आज के ज़माने में 9th सीज़न आना ये भी अपने आप में एक बहुत बड़ी बात है। एंड थैंक यू टू ऑल द लॉयल ऑडियंसेस जिन्होंने हमें ये प्यार दिया है और हम 9th सीज़न तक पहुँचे हैं। वैसे ताली बनती थी इस बात में। फर्स्ट सीज़न जब मैंने साइन किया था, आपने मुझसे पूछा कि मेरी कहाँ गई वो, अच्छा आप यहाँ हैं, तो आपने मुझे पूछा कि मेरी जर्नी कैसी रही है। तो जब फर्स्ट सीज़न व्हेन आई साइन द फर्स्ट सीज़न, तो मुझे सर पता नहीं था कि हम अपने आप में एक हिस्ट्री बनाने जा रहे हैं। और thanks to the team, thanks to all the people who have been associated. Suyesh is also here. He's heading OMG Mera India. और इन सब की एनर्जीज इतनी अच्छी हैं। एक बोलते ना, एक मुझे अभी बड़ा अच्छा सवाल पूछा किसी ने, दैनिक भास्कर से सर आए थे, कहाँ गए, हाँ सर, उन्होंने पूछा ये शो इतना क्यों चला है, ये शो इतना क्यों चला, आपको क्या लगता है? तो मैंने इनको जवाब दिया कि टीवी पे बहुत सारे शोज़ आते हैं, लेकिन एक एनर्जी बहुत मैटर करती है सबकी, कि आप क्या शोकेस कर रहे हो। हम उस तरीके का शो नहीं बनाते जहाँ, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि वो शो, मैं किसी से कंपेयर मत करना, ऐसा ना हो कि मैं यहाँ बाहर चला जाऊँ और फिर बाद में सोशल मीडिया पे कुछ और आ जाए। कि हम ये नहीं दिखाते कि कैसे गरीबी से उसने ये किया, या मदर रो रही है, या उसकी कोई अलग कहानी दिखा रहे हैं। हम प्योर टैलेंट जो है वो शोकेस करते हैं OMG ये मेरा इंडिया में। आई थिंक तभी लोगों को सबसे ज़्यादा ये शो पसंद आता है। और इस साल भी आपको बहुत सारी इंस्पायरिंग स्टोरीज़ मिलेंगी। एक OMG हीरो एक और हमारे बीच में मौजूद हैं, कमलकांत, इनके लिए भी बहुत ज़ोरदार तालियां हो जाएं। मैं एक जेन्युइन एक चीज़ शेयर करना चाहता हूँ। सुयश को एक ये पता है, हम लोग अभी गोवा में शूटिंग कर रहे थे। वैसे इस साल का जो सीज़न है थोड़ा सा और ब्यूटीफुल लगेगा आपको। OMG इज़ गोना लुक मोर ब्यूटीफुल। लोग मुझसे हमेशा पूछते हैं ना कि हर एक सीज़न में अब क्या डिफरेंट है, अब क्या अलग है। तो आई थिंक 9th सीज़न अभी तक बहुत खूबसूरत ही लगा है जहाँ जहाँ हिंदुस्तान में हमने शूट किया है। बट आई थिंक कश्मीर जो था इस बार वाकई बहुत खूबसूरत था। तो इस साल का सीज़न और ज़्यादा खूबसूरत दिखने वाला है। तो सॉरी मैंने बात काट दी। तो कमल की स्टोरी, मैं हमेशा चैनल के साथ बैठता हूँ, सुयश के साथ बैठता हूँ जब मैं अपने एंकर लिंक्स पढ़ रहा होता हूँ या उस बंदे के बारे में जान रहा हूँ, क्योंकि मुझे जानना ज़रूरी है एज अ नरेटर, क्योंकि मैं ही आप लोगों को नरेशन देता हूँ। तो जब तक मैं ही नहीं समझूंगा बात को तो वो आप तक कैसे पहुँचेगी। तो भी मैं इसके साथ बैठ के डिस्कस कर रहा था कि ये कमलकांत, अच्छा आई नो हिम, अच्छा इसने क्या किया, कैसे। जब इनकी स्टोरी, इनकी जर्नी मुझे पता चली, आप बिलीव करेंगे इस सच्चाई, अपन आपको हम कहते हैं इंस्पिरेशन, कि हम इस चीज़ से इंस्पायर हुए या हमने उसको देख के अपनी लाइफ को बेहतर कर लिया। मेरी नी में पेन था शूटिंग के दिन, जिस दिन मैं शूट कर रहा था अविनाश सर, और इनकी स्टोरी मैंने पढ़ी और मैं वो एंकर लिंक दे रहा था। मुझे ऐसा लगा यार ये क्या नी पेन में मैं टेंट्रम दिखा रहा हूँ यूनिट को, या फिर मैं खड़ा नहीं हो पा रहा हूँ। मेरे में पता नहीं कोई एनर्जी आ गई है और मैंने कहा कि नो, हम कैसे हमें शूटिंग पूरी करनी। छोटी छोटी चीज़ें, जस्ट अ स्मॉल एग्जाम्पल कि आप कैसे कैसे इंस्पायर होते हैं। वाकई यार ये एक रियल हीरो हैं कमलकांत, इनके लिए वाकई ज़ोरदार तालियां हो जाएं। रियली एन इंस्पिरेशन फॉर लॉट ऑफ पीपल। सो थैंक यू। आपके जो भी सवाल होंगे उसके जवाब हम देंगे, लेकिन उससे पहले ये जो हमारा नया सीज़न है इसका प्रोमो जो है मैं आप लोगों को दिखाना चाहूँगा। सो कैन वी हैव द